Chilly here with Sirius Talis Moon. This is Moon Hour, Mercury night, and the Moon is squaring Saturn. Midheaven was just crossing Beta Persei, so we can honor Beta Persei. And I have some nice salve that I did with the Beta Persei. Yes, it's rather old right now, but this is the exact square of the Moon and Saturn. Okay, on the degree. And Moon Hour. So this is where basically we are at almost the half moon. The sun is almost going to 19 degrees Libra. Midheaven ruled by Venus. That is conjoining Al-Qaid. And it's a good time to call on the Big Bear. And ascendant ruled by Mercury, conjoining Regulus. Now, a little bit of the atmosphere and the energy. We talked about the Saturn in Aries, but in general, there is a decisive atmosphere in the air. Whether it's about purging the people-pleasing, whether it's about the Aries about to be activated, whether it's about Mercury being in Scorpio, there's a very decisive boundary setting, psychic, energetic boundary setting, preparing for the assertion of the I am. Preparing also for Pluto to turn direct just a couple of days from now. 2 days where I am. And this is the thing about boundary setting. When people begin to set the boundary, there's a thing, when a person begins to set a boundary, in that chapter of boundary setting, that trajectory can no longer be stopped. Okay? Think about the time where Pluto was in Capricorn and people discovered the word gaslighting. So first they dated someone and they were gaslighting. And it took them a lot of time to set that boundary. They did not know what gaslighting is. They started doubting themselves. Then, when they set that boundary, then they saw the boss is gaslighting. They went grey rock on the boss. Where my Gen Zers at? And then their parents start gaslighting. It's not that they started, just they discovered this thing called gaslighting, so they went grey rock on their parents. Then there were elections. So many people don't vote. Why they don't vote? It's a threat to democracy. Yes, it's true. And that's exactly the trajectory. Okay. Then the bankers start gaslighting. Then there was this thing, pandemic. Also, they tried maybe one booster or one shot. They said, okay, this is nice, but I like to have my endocrine system intact. Thank you very much. No, thank you. How do you know that it's from the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta? Bye-bye, medical gaslighting. Ciao. Then there was a security. Okay? And that's exactly the trajectory. Because when people start to assert themselves, stop people pleasing, that's a trajectory that is going on and on and on. It's not going backwards, is what I'm saying. They're just gonna set more boundaries, more I am, more sovereignty. And with that comes more and more information, okay? The Epstein ring, the dark occult, the cloning farms. Now, in the beginning, people said the Me Too went too far. Then, when they are targeted individual and they are homeless, the Me Too suddenly did not went too far because they don't want to be. The people that thought that their investments are safe, they also, you see, why women got the right to vote after 2 world wars. Some of it because 2 generations of men and women that were with the same mindset died. But some of it because everybody became disabled, homeless, and dealt with in those situations, they dealt with the problems of women. It's made heaven better per se, what can I do? I don't make the rules, it's Venus. What an antithetical thing to say at this time. More to say about that. Let's have some essential oils. Oh, patchouli I haven't used in a while. Vetiver would also be good, but patchouli is okay. More things that happen with this square energy. First of all, people get it. When they see the energies, people get it. They understand that it's not about the energy going to less boundary setting or less I am, but actually more rights, more I am, and they get it. So that's first of all a good thing. I remind you there are Googleplex people. And, you know, whenever anything gets to Aries, when it was Mars, by the way, there was a meme in astrology groups. And the Mars in Pisces was this knight in shiny armor that writes poetry. And then Mars hits 0° Aries. Ain't nobody got time for that. Now, that meaning fighting for human rights. No, because the people with the mind, the mind going elsewhere. Now, so the good news is that people get it. It will only be more boundaries. And here's the thing. Let's say person being targeted or person being bullied. The bullies come up with such and such, ta 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 ta. The person is not going backwards. They're not going to be people pleasing again. They're also not going to go with people that offer them only things of fear, of annoyance, of mockery, of that. They're not going to go with that. Trying to exhaust them, also not going to work. Why? Because this is a couple of years where we are leaving people pleasing and embarking into an I am. Saturn is wall, Mars is broken. Breaking the walls. Okay, think about, and Aries is also new. So any new desk concentration camps, any place that is surrounded by walls will be broken. Why? Because the energy is moving from Libra. Diplomacy, people pleasing, people harloting themselves, that is no longer possible. And people are like, why? Because it's keto on that. It is no longer possible to people please. Think neurodivergent people, okay? You put a Gen Zer in, let's say, factory. Much noise, ta-ta. They need a room where they can zone out, or they're going to go and explode the entire factory. Not over human rights. It's crazy. They need some, enough of that. Okay? It's not about, they can't be, okay, and so it's just in those situations that people think, oh, person is helpless, is this, is that. Even, when I saw homeless people, sometimes, let's say I would buy something in the supermarket and would see if person is homeless. Then I said, no, I don't like this cheese. I don't like this, that. And I understood because they cannot anymore harlot themselves. That got them homeless. People pleasing got them homeless. So they went through this crisis, and from this crisis, only more human rights, more I am, more asserting themselves. And this is why Saturn in Aries is bringing that energy, because this is where a person is faced to a situation where they must stand for their rights. They can't people please anymore. They can't do just for the sake of peace anymore. This is, for example, places that are like the Libra professions, okay? Models, design, even jurisdiction. For some people, if they are doing, okay, for the beauty, but also sensuality, yes. If they're scamming, okay, Vendiametrics, they're scamming, trickery, trafficking, okay? We're going to see a surge of those people begin to physically and psychically harm the traffickers. Mega Googleplex people, if they were trafficked, they're going to begin to harm the traffickers. Now, this is because it's a threshold with Libra. People cannot anymore please people. And it's very important because for some people it's like 4th house, 10th house things. In the 60s, sometimes the parents would even sell their children to those elite pedo rings because they wanted to be with the high society. Today's children can kill their parents and the politicians and the elite. Libra is particularly women, but not only women. Anybody that has been too much on the people pleasing. Now here's the thing. If person, let's say, is a house and person escaped the human trafficking, and person, you know what, I cannot anymore, I cannot this, I cannot that. Then, for that situation, it can be that that person will make a step that they see, they begin to physically hunt those who try to hunt them. And psychically. Okay, because just like a person targeted individual posts content, they see the picture, they know who are those people that are content creators that are also, okay? Again, the move is out of people pleasing. Out of people harloting themselves. Out of corrupt business. But also out of, okay, speaker was not so pinpointed, but basically it's not so much a Libra, so it's more of an Aries. Now, also we have to remember this is not new energy. It has been here since at least 2023. So by now, people have already made a significant, the people that had the residue of people pleasing, that had the residue of harloting themselves, that had the residue of, okay, Vendia metrics, corrupt business, whatever, they have already purged those residues. If we're going on the Libra trajectory, no more people pleasing and so on trajectory to the Aries trajectory, they are no longer on the Libra trajectory. They may be halfway to the Aries, but they are already no longer on the Libra, and they're not going back. Okay? Even for those that left, let's say, abusive relationship. There's some people that took them years going back, forth, one day, their bodies could no longer. Now, they better have a place to stay that is safe and free. Think about the homeless people of the COVID and then the homeless people of Ukraine. The homeless people of the COVID were a new breed. Okay? Because this was a megalithic pack of people that had enough of gaslighting. Not medical gaslighting, not rehabilitation gaslighting, not gaslighting about no solutions, none of that. They knew they have rights, and they knew that if they don't get their rights met, the whole world can explode, and it did. The refugees that came later with Ukraine war, they already knew. There were even people saying, complaining about their housing conditions because they knew it was just real estate wars. So why do they have to compromise? Because they're a refugee? It's their taxes that this war was made. And the other country they ran into is invested in that, and from their taxes they got their taxes. And that was just the beginning. Those that rely on trying to make people do things that are against of what their I am, they entered a trajectory where they meet someone that already, and we had it since 2023, we have someone that's not going back. They're not going back from this place. And this is where people think they will come to their senses. Yes, they come to their senses. Their senses say something very sensible. Either there is housing, peace, travel, income that is safe and free and sovereign in spirit and in matter. Okay? Housing, travel, safe, free, income that is safe and free, and sovereign in spirit and in matter and in energy, or okay? Because anything other than that or less than that is no solution, is a declaration of war. We're moving out of Libra. Now, particularly anybody that tries to tell a person who they are. Now, that's the thing. Somebody is a human trafficker and they say, Let me be myself. I am myself. Do you identify as a human trafficker? Is it a part of your identity, okay? Do you identify as a rapist? Is it a part of your identity? And anybody to try to go against one authentic identity, the sovereign identity, needs to take into account that person has just been through purging maybe decades, megalithic amounts of holding themselves back, being in avoidance, going around the point. What's the point? Your dumb fuckery, human trafficking society over the account of my job opportunities, my housing, from the budget that's supposed to go to me if I need to rest, is trying to target me, make me homeless, enslave me, whatnot. It's a declaration of war against me. Over nothing. I am right. I don't come to target people, to make them homeless. I am on the right side. I am on the just side. Anybody else is on the scammy side. Now you know what they said. The classified projects in the United States regime. I don't know the budget in Israel. If somebody knows, maybe they can write in the comments. Is such a budget that is the amount of the GDP of Afghanistan. I did not make that equation. The people that talk about those classified projects budget, they did. Coincidence? I don't know. Uranus is going to go over that midheaven. Now here's the thing. If the people that get that and understand that whatever plans that they ever had, any type of plans, have to accommodate for people to be safe, free, sovereign in spirit, in matter, in housing, which entails real estate, able to make income for something that is respectful and honoring of their own I am according to their what they see fit, not other people. Alternatively, they're running into a pack of people that have been frustrated for I don't know how long, targeted, psychic attack, real estate scams, trafficking scams, war, this, that. And people try to make them think it's illegal for them to exist. There is no culture, no religion, no patriarchal authority figure, regardless of women and men, also the men, that can tell a person, no, you have no right to exist. No, it's illegal for you to get to exist. What do you think will happen? And those people, they're not after the children that were tortured, that were thrown off every workplace, that were told you don't want to work, you don't. They're not after those kids. They're not after the younger generation. Now also it is Libra we are purging, okay? Libra knows how to negotiate. It means Libra knows the tricks and the scams and the image of and the, okay? And it also, even though Neptune is in Aries, okay? It's not that you can tell them, here, have a this, have a that, this is going to be okay, here's this new place, this new that. No, Saturn, they want something that actually stands the test of time and has foundations. And nobody will be able to say, what, no solution is good for you? Because Saturn is going to be sextile in Sedna. So first of all, where is all the classified projects budget? Divide it to the people, and then we'll come up with our own projects. Some will design homes. It's our money, not just the US. Because those classified, if people in US target people, okay, in another country, another continent, it's our money. And it's our land, and it's our housing. Now people say, what do you do to silence all these Libras? Nothing. Nothing, nothing to the nothing to the nothing to the no. That doesn't go more silent, and you don't want to silent, because when Venus stops talking, Mars starts acting. And you say, but what power do they have to do anything? You put people in position where they have, and here's the thing, people don't, Saturn doesn't understand. Sometimes it does. They say, oh, this person have nothing to lose, so they would do everything. Yes, they would kill those who are in charge of why they were in that position. They don't have to kill anybody. Yes, they can have a house, they can have a way to make a money that is sovereign and honoring of the I am in spirit and in matter, autonomy, in energy, physical, financial. They don't have to kill anybody, they don't have to harm anybody. And there are Googleplex people all around the world, even from countries and culture where it's not costume to talk openly. You see, normally there are cultures, places where they say, you know, if a person is older, to greet them, to this, to that. A person is older, raped children, raped girls, sacrificed people for real estate, for resources. With what money? With the people's money. in classified projects. Who funded Epstein ring? Your classified projects. What? No, really, what people were planning on? To put people in helpless situation, confined situation, this situation. What did they think would happen? People. Pick your battles was when Ra was in Libra. And for how long they thought that this thing is going to sustain? United States, the land of the free. A person, even if they got to buy their own property, they cannot put their own RV on their property while they're planning the house. These are the rules. What do you think is going to happen? And their classified project targets people all over the world. Now, I live in Israel. People, I don't know what people are experiencing from our intelligence. But our intelligence is not right in MK Ultra South and US everywhere. Uranus is in Gemini. The people can no longer. Pluto is out of bounds. Tomorrow, Pluto is out of bounds for 10 years in Aquarius. The people won't be not listened to, not this, not that, oppressed, that this, surveillance. No, ain't nobody got time for that. And Saturn is time. What happens when Saturn regress into the sign of ain't nobody got time for that? And Saturn is time. Let me tell you what they did in Israel during COVID. They were the fines over the masks. Entire population that got fines, all they needed to do was to flood the bureaucratic system with requests to be standing in trial. Immediately to drop the fines. Now all the gaslighting tactics that try to shift the blame, Saturn in Aries, they better not. Expiration date for gaslighting of any kind And it's easy to see in the past 3 years, people only got more certain of their rights and they're not going back. And happens what happened when Pluto was in Capricorn. The hidden power position begin to reveal themselves. Only to find out that the people know they're not going back. A person tried to rent an apartment, get threats to be raped if they try to live alone in an apartment where they might be able to pay and then have the apartment to acquire the apartment with the years. Try to put fear tactics on a person over nothing. That they just want to live their lives. People don't care about the currency. Ain't nobody gonna care about what currency, what resources, what this, what that. They need a home, they need a place where they can be, they need to be safe and free, they need to be able to travel, they need to be able to rest, they need to be able to speak, they need to be able to not speak, they need to be able to have income from something that is sovereign. Ain't nobody care about the currency. Ain't nobody care about this emergency, that. It's all our money. What is Neptune in Aries? Okay? Because Neptune can be savior complex. Neptune in Aries means every self is their own savior, which means that people try to put people in helpless situation and say, come, I will save you. They say, you, the person that put me in that situation, is going to save me? Targeting me is targeting yourself. And that is after sometimes decades. People get sacrificed, kidnapped from hospital, get sacrificed in some construction site. Nobody cares about the authority of public figures when they do that. Nobody wants to live in a fear state, surveillance state. Where is lital? Where are the missing people? The content creators. From the trajectory that started 2023, 2024, there is no going back. There is no authority. After somebody was dealing with psychic boundary violation, rape, threats of rape, to the real estate, they ran away. After they ran away, what is that dumb fuckery? That has no right to exist. People get kidnapped from the hospital, raped and sacrificed from our money. From our money, they pay the person that kidnaps and rapes a person in hospital that is helpless, kidnaps them and sacrifices them, buries them alive. You know, by the way, what is the treatment to mental crisis? Housing first, independent of ability to work for unlimited time. But to believe the patient and to protect their testimony. Otherwise, yes, there are political assassinations, of course. Look at this Aldebaran. Saturn hour. Aldebaran, for those that work with Archangel Michael, and even calling on Archangel Michael, one says, creating people where people are raped and they don't even have anybody to turn to, and then tell them pray to this, pray to that. No wonder people pray to Archangel Michael, then exposed the human trafficking on Opus Dei, in the Mormons, in the Haredi, Khazarian, I don't know what they called, Muslim Brotherhood of Satan. They're trying to assassinate a politician in Netherlands. Nobody wants to live in surveillance country, living in fear. That's not life. It's definitely not democracy. There's no place for trafficking in democracy. If there is trafficking, there was no democracy. If people need to be trafficked to have housing, there was no democracy. Now many people, they evaded that. They say, pick my battles. And now, in the past years, they see those things. That's a no-go. People are not going back to the trajectory what it was before 2023. Because all the dirt came out as well. All the people that were scheming, that were going with this, trying to traffic people, the colleagues, that this, that. And all the energy is not going to lower astral. Why? Because there's a difference between boundary setting, the anger of boundary setting, and lower astral. Two different things. And those that relied on energy theft, on cursing people, they cannot digest the energy. Those that did mockery rituals, we know where they are now. And nobody is going to take the blame for what they did. That they were ready to sacrifice people over nothing. They thought they're going to get real estate from that. They're going to get treason and assassination. They thought they're going to get money from that. You know where all the money went? to all the 14 wives that had children that divorced. And settle all the lawsuits that nobody knows about. And those that try to take a life or to take the will to live from someone, nobody's coming to save them from the implications of what they've done. The party was set to be over, with all the people that thought that they partied on camera. People living their lives targeted over nothing. Why? Because they don't join the human trade. Googleplex people, they're more targeted individuals than individuals. With what money? With our money! They target we the people with our money on the account of our opportunities to make a life while making a living. With our real estate. There's enough housing for each person, each single person on the globe, without the population to have a house and a yard. With our resources. By the people that are supposed to be our healers. Paid from our money to sacrifice we the people. When will this be over? When the dumb fuckery is no longer.